Hello everyone, welcome to Java Learners. In this video, we will understand what are unnamed variables and patterns. The unnamed variables and patterns were released as a preview feature in Java 21 and these are not finalized till Java 24. Let's understand what are unnamed variables. Before understanding the unnamed variables, first let us try to understand the problem which it solves. Here in this code snippet, you can see that there is one method named isFilePresent. This method will return true if a file is present and file is readable. This method will return false if the file is not present or file is not readable. In this method, I have created the path object and this path object represents a file location. Using the input stream method, a new stream is opened to read the file. This new input stream method will throw the exception if the file is not present or file is not readable. So if this will throw the exception, then the catch block would be executed and the false value would be returned. If the input stream object is created successfully, then it would be assigned to the input stream reference variable, which is of type input stream, and true value would be returned. Here we are using try with resources to ensure that input stream is automatically closed when this particular block of code is executed. Here you can see that the input stream variable is initialized, but it is never used in this isFilePresent method, and this is left unused intentionally. As I have written this code, so I know why it is left unused. If some other developer goes through this code, then it might be little misleading for him to understand why it is left unused. So he may think that this input stream variable is left unused by mistake. Here we can use the concept of unnamed variables. The unnamed variables are the variables which are initialized and those variables are never used. Here in the second code snippet, you can see that I have replaced input stream variable with underscore sign. The unnamed variables are represented using the underscore sign. Here in the second code snippet, by using the underscore sign, it has been indicated that this input stream variable is left unused intentionally. This is not by mistake. So there are many scenarios where we can use unnamed variables in the code. Let's learn about unnamed variable declarations. The unnamed variable is used to declare a local variable in a block. It is used in a try with resource statement and in the header of a for loop. It is used to declare an exception parameter in a catch block. It is used to declare a formal parameter of a lambda expression. Let me explain these points with examples. Let's start with the first one, that is to declare a local variable in a block. To learn this, I'm going to take an example of a ticket drawing system that selects winners by picking the second ticket from the queue. I have created a record ticket to represent the drawing ticket, and this record has only one component, that is owner ID. Here is my draw every second ticket method. This method takes the ticket queue and the number of winners required. Inside this method, a while loop is used. The loop will continue until we either find the required number of winners or the queue runs out of tickets. In the loop, you can see that the first ticket is removed from the queue and it is stored in the variable first ticket, and this variable's value is never used. The second ticket is removed from the queue and that ticket is stored in the winners list, and then the winners needed value is decreased by 1. If the queue is empty and we try to remove an element from the queue, in that case, no such element exception will be thrown and will be handled in the catch block. This method will return a winners list. In the main method, you can see that the link blocking queue instance is created and 10 tickets are added to the link blocking queue. And then the draw every second ticket method is invoked to select first three winners. This method returns a list which will have three winners, and here I'm going to print the winners information. Let me run it. Here you can see that the three winners are displayed. In the draw every second ticket method at line number 33, you can see that the variable first ticket is initialized, but it is never used. It is left unused intentionally to show the intent that we are not going to use the first element from the queue. Here we can use the concept of unnamed variables. We can replace the first ticket variable with underscore symbol. Here the underscore symbol will indicate that the first ticket is ignored, means it is not used intentionally, not by mistake. Let me run it again. Here you can see that the output is same. There is no error. We use try with resources to ensure that the resource is automatically closed when a particular block of code is executed. So sometimes we have the requirement that the resource is initialized but it is never used. So the unnamed variable can be used to represent the resource which is never used. Here you can see that I have created one method is file present, and this is file present method is going to take the file path, and this is file present method will return true if the file is present and the file is readable. It will return false if the file is not present or file is not readable. Here you can see that I'm using try with resources statement to read the file, and the input stream object is created and it is assigned to the reference variable input stream, and this input stream variable is not used inside this is file present method. So this might be little misleading for other developers when they go through this code. Then they may think that this input stream variable is left unused by mistake. Here I can use unnamed variable concept to indicate that this input stream variable is left unused intentionally, it is not by mistake. So here I can replace this input stream with underscore. In the D folder, I have created the file notification.txt. So the output for this code should be true. So let me run this application. Here you can see that the file is present. So that's why we are getting true. If I change the file name, which is not present in the D folder, then we'll see what is the output. So here I have updated the name and I'm going to run it. So here you can see that the output is false. The unnamed variables can also be used to represent the exception parameters of the catch block. Here you can see that in the catch block, we have declared one parameter named as E, and which is of type IO exception. And in the catch block, we are not going to use this parameter E. As the variable E is unused here in the catch block, so we can replace it with underscore sign. Now it is an unnamed variable, and it has been indicated here that the IO exception variable is unnamed variable and it is left unused intentionally. The unnamed variables can also be used in the header of a for loop. Let's see how. Here at this path, you can see that there are 4 folders and 2 files. I will write one method where I will pass the name of this cube deployment folder, and that method will count the number of files and folders in this folder. Here you can see that I have created one method named as number of items on path, and this is taking the directory path as an argument. The path object is created to represent the location of the folder. Using the new directory stream method, a directory stream object is created to iterate over the items of the folder. The directory stream object would be stored in the ignored reference variable, which is of type directory stream. Here we are using try with resources statement to ensure that this directory stream object would be closed automatically when this block of code is executed. Inside this for loop, we are going to go through each item in the cube deployment directory. Inside this for loop, I am going to add one system.out.println statement to print the item path. Okay, so let me run this application now. Here you can see that we have 6 items in the directory, and the path of the items are also printed here. So here you can see that there are 4 folders named deployment, notification management, shipment service, and user management, and there are 2 files, deb namespace.yml and qa namespace.yaml. Here in this for loop, this item path variable is initialized, but it is not used because we are going to count the number of paths in the directory. As this variable is not used inside the for loop, so it can be declared an unnamed variable because it is unused. So if I am going to remove the variable name and going to replace it with underscore, then it will work without any compilation error. So we can use unnamed variables in the header of the for loop. So if I run this application now, we will see that the output is same. So here we can see that it is giving the number of directories in that particular folder. The unnamed variables can also be used to represent the formal parameters in the lambda expressions. In the lambda expressions, we might have a situation where the formal parameter is declared, but it is not used. So in those scenarios, we can replace those formal parameters with unnamed variables. So to understand this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one example of insert query, which is generated dynamically. So we have one table named employee, and in that table we have 2 columns, emp id and emp name. So the dynamically generated query would look like this: insert into employee, then column names, then values, and then question marks. In this dynamically generated query, I would use the stream API to dynamically generate the column names which are enclosed within the parenthesis, and I will also use stream API to dynamically generate the placeholders which are also enclosed in the parenthesis, and those placeholders are question marks. Here you can see that I have created one method named insert query, and which is going to take an argument of type list, and that list will represent all the columns of the table for which the insert query would be generated. So here at line number 19, you can see that I have created a stream on the columns list, and then I have generated the fields which would be inserted in the table. Here I am using collectors dot joining to separate the table columns with comma, and I'm also passing the prefix and suffix which are parentheses. So the generated string would look like this. At line number 23, I'm also using this stream API to generate the placeholders, and those placeholders are question marks. In the collect method, we are using the joining method of the collectors class to separate the question marks with the comma, and we are also passing the prefix and suffix values, and which are parentheses here. So the output of this line number 20 will look like this. At line number 27, you can see that I have created an object of string builder class, and in the constructor I am passing this constant string which is insert into employee, and then in the append method I am passing the column names, and then again in the append we are passing the constant values, and then in the append we are passing the placeholders, and at the end the query is generated and it is returned. So let me run this application and see what is the output. So here you can see that the insert query is generated dynamically. So this part emp id comma emp name is generated using the line number 19, and this part the question marks which are separated with comma, uh, that part is generated using the line number at 23. Here at line number 24, you can see that we are using the map method, and in the map method we are passing the column name, and corresponding to every column we are returning the question mark. So here we are not using this column name inside this map method, so this is unused. So here we can use the concept of unnamed variables, because this column name is not being used in the map method, so we can replace it with underscore sign. So I'm going to replace it with underscore sign to indicate this is left unused intentionally, not by mistake. So if I run this application again, then I see that it is running successfully and output is same. Before understanding the unnamed patterns, let us first understand what is pattern matching. The pattern is basically a combination of a condition and a pattern variable. The pattern variables are used in the switch expressions and instance of operators. In this code snippet, you can see that we are using switch expression to determine the type of the object. In this switch expression, string text and integer number both are called patterns. The classes like string and integer both are called conditions, and the variables text and number both are called pattern variables. If selector expression obj is an instance of a string, then the first case block will be executed and the value of obj would be assigned to pattern variable text. If selector expression obj is an instance of integer, then the second case block will be executed and the value of obj will be assigned to pattern variable number. If selector expression obj is neither string nor integer, in that case an exception will be thrown. The process of matching an object against a pattern is called pattern matching. In this switch expression, we are matching object obj against pattern string text and integer number. The pattern matching allows us to match an object based on their type and bind them to a variable. Now let us understand the concept of unnamed patterns. Here in this code snippet, the method getType uses a switch expression to determine the type of input object obj, and it returns a corresponding string based on its type. For the first case, string. If obj is an instance of string, then the value of obj will be assigned to pattern variable text, and switch expression will return a string. It's a string. For the second case, integer. If obj is an instance of integer, then the value of obj will be assigned to pattern variable number, and the switch expression will return a string. It's an integer. If obj is neither a string nor an integer, then the default case will be executed and an exception will be thrown. In this example, you can see that the variable text and number both are assigned a value of obj, but that value is never used. Here we can use the concept of unnamed patterns. The unnamed patterns allow us to replace pattern variable names with underscore symbol. Here we can replace pattern variables text and number with underscore symbol. In the second code snippet, you can see that I have replaced the pattern variable names with underscore symbol. Here the underscore symbol indicates that we are not going to bind the value of obj with the pattern variables, because we are not going to use the pattern variables in the corresponding case blocks. Using the underscore symbol, we also signal to other developers that the value is ignored intentionally. It is not ignored by mistake. The unnamed patterns can be used in instance of checks, and we can also use it in the switch expressions. I will explain the uses of unnamed patterns in the switch expression and instance of operator with examples. Here this method getType is using switch expression to determine the type of the object. If object is of type string, then the message would be returned as it's a string, and if the object is an instance of integer, then the message would be returned as it's an integer. Here in this code snippet, you can see that we have two pattern variables which are text and number, and these variables are not being used inside the corresponding case block. So I'm going to replace these pattern variables with underscore symbol. Now I'm going to run it. Here you can see the output message. It's a string. The unnamed patterns can also be used with instance of checks. Here in this method total price, I'm going to use the instance of operator to determine the type of order, and the order can be either a delivery order or takeaway order. So I have created two records named delivery order and takeaway order, and both of these records have three components named order ID, item, and price. Here in the total price method, I'm going to use instance of operator to check whether the order is an instance of delivery order or takeaway order. If the order is an instance of delivery order, then the order components would be extracted, and the value of these components would be assigned to the pattern variables, and the pattern variables are order ID, item, and price. For delivery orders, the total price would be calculated by adding the 70 rupees flat delivery fee in the price. If the order is an instance of takeaway order, then the components of the order would be extracted and the value of the components would be assigned to the pattern variables. And here the pattern variables are order ID, item and price. The total price for takeaway order would be calculated by adding the 20 rupees packing charges in the price. If the order is neither delivery order nor takeaway order, in that case an illegal argument exception will be thrown. Here you can see that we are using the price pattern variable to calculate the total price for delivery order and takeaway order. But we are not using the order ID and item pattern variables. So I'm going to replace the order ID and item with underscore symbol. Here the underscore symbol indicates that the value of order components would not be assigned to first two variables. Only the price would be extracted from the order and that price value would be assigned to pattern variable price. In the main method, you can see that I have created an object of delivery order. Its order ID is 1 and the item name is items 1 and the price of the order is 20. Now I'm going to execute it. Here in the output, you can see that the total price of the delivery order is 90 rupees. The price of the order is 20 rupees and the flat delivery fee 70 rupees is added in the price. So that's why the total price is 90 rupees. The unnamed patterns can also be used in the switch expressions. In the switch expressions, we can also use the pattern matching for records. So here in this example, I am going to use the um, pattern matching for records. The calculate total price method is using switch expression to determine the type of the order. If the order is of type delivery order, in that case, the fields from the order would be extracted and those fields would be assigned to the pattern variables of the delivery order. So here the pattern variables are order ID, item and price. If the order is an instance of type takeaway order, in that case the fields from the order would be extracted and the value of those fields would be assigned to the pattern variables order ID, item and price. If order is neither delivery order nor takeaway order, in that case the default case would be executed and illegal argument exception would be thrown. Here you can see I have created two records. The first one is a delivery order and the second one is takeaway order. In the main method, you can see that I have created an instance of delivery order and I'm going to invoke the calculate total price method. Now I'm going to run it. Here you can see that the total price is 90 rupees. 70 rupees is flat delivery fee and 20 rupees is the price of the item. Here you can see that the pattern variables order ID and item both are unused. We are not using it, but we are using the pattern variable price to calculate the total price for the order. So here we can replace the order ID and item pattern variables with underscore symbol. Here the underscore symbol is going to indicate that first two variables are unused variables and these variables are ignored intentionally, not by mistake. That's it for this video. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Please provide your comments in the comment section. Thank you.